Hey, what's going on, y'all? This is the Hoops Guru for B Street Sports Blast. And guess what? The NBA starts tonight. Yeah, the 2015-16 season is underway. And what I want to do is go over my picks or my teams I think they're going to make the playoffs for this season coming up. I'm gonna do this first show. I'm gonna do it just sticking strictly with the Eastern Conference. Um, the Eastern Conference is a weird conference because people say it's a weaker conference in the Western, which it is to an extent. I'll give you that. But it's going to be a tight and very entertaining conference as well, especially since the NBA is not going to do the divisions. It's going to be straight top eight seeds. I think that's going to make a lot of interest when things go down to the wire. I think the top five teams in the East, though, wait a minute, yeah, the top five teams in the East are probably more very solidified. But there's going to be a lot of teams fighting for 6, 7, and 8 for sure when it comes down to the end of the season. I think it's going to be very entertaining. Um, my picks are probably going to be different than a lot of things you've heard from other sites, but hey, this is my view. This is what I see. I think I know hoops very well. So hey, let's get into it. Um, my number one, gosh, can't find my hand. My number one team, I think that's gonna have the best record in the Eastern Conference is gonna be the Atlanta Hawks again. Yeah, I know a lot of people are excited about what Cleveland's doing. It got them shooting for the NBA Finals, and they are a good team for sure. And I think when the playoffs come, they'll be a well-fueled team for sure. But Atlanta, they're a team that's very hard to prepare for during the regular season when you're playing 82 grind-out games. They know each other well. I think they did a great thing by adding Thiago Splitter because now it's going to allow them to play kind of a traditional lineup when they want to, meaning Thiago could play the 5, Al Horford could go to the 4, and Millsap can play some 3. Millsap proved to be a solid defender in the playoffs when Damari Carroll was hurt during the playoffs. He checked LeBron for a while and did a pretty decent job. So I'd like to see them be able to mix things up a little more than they did last year. I think Thiago Splitter is going to help a lot allowing them doing that. Yes, they did lose DeMar Carroll, but they did gain Tim Hardaway Jr. I think he's going to be a very good asset once he learns that system. Um, hopefully Kyle Korver's healthy. He can slide back into where his groove like he had last year. I expect Jeff T to be a better floor general than he was. Dennis Schroeder, I expect to see him to be really pushing Teague and also playing. I can also see Atlanta playing both of those guards together playing together for a while, as well as a dual point guard backcourt. Excuse me. And I just think they're going to be a hard out. I can see them winning the division. I don't think they're going to, be a surprise like they were last year, but they're going to win a lot of games. 60, I'm not sure. Maybe close, but 58, something to that effect. I definitely see the Atlanta Hawks doing that again. Now, does that mean they're going to go to the NBA Finals? No, I'm not saying that at all. I think they're a team when it comes to the playoffs, and you can game plan for them and strategize for them. It's a different ball game. But as far as the regular season goes, I have the Atlanta Hawks being the number one seed in the Eastern Conference. Um, Number two, I have the Chicago Bulls. That team has made a lot of changes. Not really a lot of changes, but they did make a big change in Cope Stibbs no longer being at the helm after 5 years. To me, that's an expected move. He's the type of guy that burns the team out. He's so demanding, and even though this is a game where these guys are playing millions of dollars, it still needs to be fun. They still need to enjoy going to work, and I think Tibbs kind of burns his players out after a while. So I think Fred Hoiberg is probably be a good change for them. It would be interesting though to see this emphasis on offense over defense. What type of toll does it take on the team? And the reason I'm saying that is because defense was their mantra. They would go long periods at time without scoring sometimes, but the defense would keep them in the game. Now that they're going to be a little more focused on offense, will scoring become easier for them, and will they compromise their defense? I think if their defense lags, it could be iffy. But I'm because that unit's been together so long, I think they'll still be a strong team in the East. It's going to be interesting as well that Noah is not expected to be starting this year. They're going to go with Mitchell, excuse me for getting his name, Nikola, beer dude, with the that can shoot threes. I can see that with Paul Pierce. They're trying to split the floor more. It'll be interesting with the second unit with Noah and Taj Gibson playing together. I don't expect Taj Gibson to be there the whole year, to tell you the truth. I think he's just too talented, and him not starting another year, I just think it's a waste. And I think he has high value, and I think if there's a trade to be made during the season, it's going to happen. And whoever gets him is going to be very happy because I'll take Taj Gibson over Tristan Thompson any day. But that's another story. But yeah, I think Chicago should be fine. I'm just kind of curious to see how the offense goes. They are a little bit older, they've been grinding for a little while, but Jimmy Butler's still solid, Paul Gasol still solid. And now they're going to trust their pups a little bit. I'm interested in seeing what Tony Snell's going to be able to bring this year. See if Doug McBuckets can actually live up to his name. We know Tibbs didn't really mess with him that much last year. And I just want to see him being confident, shooting, taking a shot, because the guy can shoot, and the way the NBA is today, he should be a very, very, very valuable asset. So I'm looking for the Chicago Bulls to be the number 2 seed going into when the playoffs arrive. The number 3 I'm picking is the Cleveland Cavaliers. The reason I'm not picking them one is they got injuries, and also I think LeBron has played so much basketball over these last few years. He's just like, hey man, kind of like just get me in the playoffs. Get me in the playoffs and have this team healthy, and we'll make our run. If we have to sacrifice home court advantage in a series, conference finals, I'm fine with that. I just want to be rested and healthy. I can't go through what I did last year. But health is a key issue, and that's why I don't have enough. Kyrie Irving's not starting the season. Iman Shumpert, Mozgov has a little injury. I'm not sure exactly where he is right now. Tristan Thompson just signed, and they got to get him up to speed. So it'll be interesting to see if they got their mojo and energy going off at the offset. And I think they may they may give away a few games early, which I think they really don't mind. And that's why I have them as a 3rd seed. I think there'll be some early season losses that they took where some teams like Atlanta, Chicago may stay ahead of them. But all in all, we know when it comes down to the playoffs, this team is going to be highly in the mix. The next seed I have is the Washington Wizards. This team right here, I'm surprised. I see a lot of people thinking this team's going to be a 7th or 8th seed, barely making the playoffs. I think this is going to be one of the surprise teams in the Eastern Conference. Yeah, they lost Paul Pierce, but if it's a team, if you watch, Paul Pierce didn't play major minutes for the Wizards during the regular season. The playoffs, he was really pretty much a closer, but the gifts that he gave them before he left are invaluable. I think he gave them a professional attitude, a winning attitude, instilled a great deal of confidence in Otto Porter. I expect him to be a most improved player candidate for sure this year. And they changed their style of play. They saw that they had something in the playoffs, and I expect the Wizards to be the fastest team in the NBA this year. They're going to get up and down, try to get a lot of easy buckets. I would be tempted to give them a higher seed, but I think they're going to shoot the 3-pointer to the point where it may be to their detriment in a few games when the shots just aren't clicking, and they're just going to be out of some games some nights. But they're going to run and surprise teams. They're going to get up and down the court, and they're really going to exhaust a lot of squads and just get them out of there. I expect to see them as a pretty exciting running team. Nene is not expected to start this year. They have Chris Humphries been working on his 3. He's going to take probably more 3s than the average Wizards fan would like, but he'll keep defenses a little honest to spread the floor. Nene, he needs to be healthy. That's very important if he's going to be one of the key players in that second unit. But I think he could be a dominant player coming off the bench with the second unit as well. But he has to be healthy and he has to be engaged. They need to get Allen Anderson healthy so that he can contribute. I think that's very important. That's a great pickup. Gary Neal is going to be a great spark plug with Sessions. They're still going to keep that tempo pushing. And we know Gary Neal is instant buckets. And that's what they need with that second unit, someone that can that can put up some points during those stretches during, late first quarter, second quarter when the starters are kind of trying to get their rest. So I see the Washington Wizards being a 4th seed going into the playoffs this year. So that should be interesting. The next team I have here is the Miami Heat. Um, this team right here is going to be interesting to see. They're finally going to have all their starters at the beginning of the year. I don't think there's any significant injuries right now. Everybody's going crazy over Hassan Whiteside. Hopefully, the success didn't go to his head. In the playoffs, I didn't see him as dominant, so it'll be interesting to see what he brings to the table, um, especially on the offensive end. We know he can defend, but can he be a threat offensively outside the small pick and roll and putbacks? Which are value, but I want to see him a little bit more involved in the offense. And the reason I have this team here is they still got, a lot of people have these teams like, hey, Cleveland and Miami in the finals. No one else matters. I think that's crazy. I think the Miami Heat, they need to gel. Chris Bosh is coming off a major illness. This is his first time, getting back to playing professional basketball. So, is he healthy? Does he have the strength and conditioning to keep up? Is he ready for the rigors of an 82 game season? Dwayne Wade, scratch 20 games for sure. That's just what it is at this point in his career. Scratch 20 games. Um, Luau Dang, he's good, but we can say his best days are behind him now. I don't think he's gonna give you anything extra than what we've seen from last year. Gordon Dragic should be very good. I think that's going to be excellent. Probably the best point guard they've had there in a while. So it's going to take this team a little bit of time to gel, but if it does gel, it can be scary, and I can look dead wrong picking these guys this low. But then again, I think it's going to be kind of tight anyway with these teams anyway. So this seedings could be a difference between Washington being one game better than Miami or something to that effect. So it's going to be tight regardless. But the Miami Heat, I think they'll definitely be back in the playoffs, unlike they were last year, barring any major injuries to their key players. Gerald Green has looked lights out in the preseason. Let's see if that continues to the regular season. If so, that's a great spark plug off the bench. They got the Johnson kid who in the preseason looks great. We know preseason is a regular season though, so let's see it translate. But Miami Heat should be there for sure in the playoffs, and if they're healthy and if they're what people think they could be, I wouldn't want to play them in the playoffs the first round. That's for sure. Um, the next team I have in the playoffs is the Toronto Raptors. Man, this squad right here. Um, they were good in the regular season. I should see more of the same. As long as you got in shape Kyle Lowry, you have a DeMar DeRozan who looks like he needs to rebound from last year, especially how he got pretty much controlled by Otto Porter in the playoffs. I think he's going to be ready for a redemption season. Um, they did, even though they gained Damari Carroll, I thought they played a lot for him, but he is a solid player. He's a lot more stable than Terrence Ross for sure at the small forward position. I thought they let a lot go. Amir Johnson, I thought he was good for him. You let Lou Williams go, spark plug off the bench. He saved a lot of games off the bench for that team last year. Um, so I think that's a critical loss that particular team had in those two players. Tyler Hansborough is gone. Didn't do much, but still was a hustle energy type of person. And General Grievous Vasquez. I call him General Grievous. I think it's a cool nickname. But I thought he was a solid backup point guard. Nice change of pace. There were games where he kind of energized that energy guy to keep the team pushing. I really like what he brought to their roster, and I just want to know if those changes in the bench are going to affect them. Uh, we'll see. Patrick Patterson, he's getting more responsibility now. He's expected to start, play kind of a stretch four. So we'll see if the starting five is intact, but is the bench going to be strong enough to keep Toronto where they were last year and improve on what was a disappointing playoff run last year? We'll see, but I definitely see them as a playoff team. Maybe the same or a little bit dipped from last year, but you know, it's just going to be there's a lot of different ifs with that particular squad. Um, Wow, we're getting down to the nitty gritty now, aren't we? Two more positions left here, and this is where it gets rough. It gets rough. I'm gonna leave somebody out for sure. Hey, but that's what it's all about. Then the next team I'm gonna put in here, the Milwaukee Bucks. Um, this is a team I was hot on last year, and and they proved to be that they got in like I thought they would, and it seems like everybody has higher expectations for this squad now. But I don't. I think it's going to be more of the same. I don't know if it's going to be anything better with this particular team. I really didn't like getting rid of their point guard from last year, Brandon Knight. Michael Kidd Gilchrist. Not Michael Kidd Gilchrist. Excuse me. Michael Carter Williams. Excuse me. Just doesn't seem like the solid floor general. He's a good player, but it seemed like that team lost something when that particular trade was made. Um, you got the Greek Freak. Please put on some size, but let's see if it translates into him having a better game. I think he's playing some three now, but he'll probably play all five positions this year, which is good. I think he needs to work on his jumper still because ideally he'd be a fantastic stretch four if he can make teams a little more honest on his jumper because then he can start slashing and run the floor. I think he could really propel his game. Um, but this team, they're good, but something about them seems like they may have not be better or live up to the higher expectations that people are putting on them. Greg Monroe's been added, but I don't know how he fits into this squad. What style are they going to play? There's a healthy Jabari Parker. Is he in shape? Is he ready to go? These are a lot of different ifs with this team where they, maybe expectations may be met, but I don't believe in it as of yet. I think they'll be a competitive team every night, but I think they'll be fighting for a playoff spot. I don't think they'll be one of those upper teams that are solidified in the playoffs as a lock, top five or anything like that. I think they'll be fighting, and I think they can get caught by some surprise teams as well. Um, I just do. And the last playoff spot, man, was hard for me to pick because I'm torn, really, between the Indiana Pacers and the Orlando Magic. I think the Orlando Magic can be the surprise team that the Milwaukee Bucks were last year. And the reason I'm saying that is because of Scott Skiles. And I think this is correct because I really don't want to diss the Pacers, but they made some changes to that roster that's going to be iffy. So hey, I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna say the Orlando Magic. Why not? I that's what my heart's telling me. Scott Skiles knows how to maximize talent. He'll burn you out in 3 years, but he's gonna maximize that talent this year. They're gonna play hard, that's for sure. Just want to know if their heads are going to be able to keep up with their bodies because they're such a young team. Peyton's still kind of young as a floor general. Victor Oladipo, is this the year he makes the leap as far as his talent is concerned? Uh, that's what I want to be able to see. Vucevic, man, that guy can be an all-star. He can be a potential uh, 17 and 15 boarding type of player. He'll have a few 20 and 20 games for sure for all you FanDuel guys out there. He's somebody you might want to keep your eye on. Um, Tobias Harris, I think he's ready to make a leap too. I think he has potential to have a 50-point game this year. But if they believe in him to be the leader, that's the only thing. I don't know who's the exact leader on the floor for this team, but they do have a lot of young, exciting talent. You got the rookie Mario Herzenga. Will Scott Skiles trust him? He's a little flamboyant. Will he allow him to play his game? Will he allow him to run and be exciting, but at the same time translating to wins? But this team should be able to get up and down the floor. But I just want to know if Scott Skiles is going to be able to get them to defend. If he does, this young talent should be fighting for a last playoff spot. I see teams like Indiana right on their heels, Boston right on their heels. The New York Knicks, I don't think they'll make it, but I think they won't be laughed at. I think they'll miss it by maybe like 2 or 3 games. but they should be in the conversation before it's all over. And then there's also the Detroit Pistons. Um, they're also a squad that, this could blow up in my face if they get it together. There's some talent there. You don't have Greg Monroe getting in the way of Andre Drummond. Drummond should have a phenomenal year this year. He should have a great year. And Stanley Johnson, I think he's a rookie of the year. Um, I anticipate him starting. I anticipate him getting a lot of minutes. And the guy's a stud. He's a big Dwayne Wade to me, or at least that's where I think he can be down the line. So, there it is in a nutshell. Is this rocket science? No. But this is just what I see as today. It'll be interesting to see in April how close or how far I was off the mark. But that's my predictions for the Eastern Conference. I'll be giving you my predictions for the Western Conference soon. Do me a favor and subscribe to the channel. Let your friends know. Leave a comment if I'm on point or if I'm a fool. Either way, let me know. And that's what it's all about. NBA starts tonight. Thank you. Enjoy the games. Peace.